Anger has kept human beings alive for thousands of years. In every age, it has sounded the alarm when a child was threatened, a border was crossed, or a promise was broken. Yet, in modern life, men are told two opposite stories at the same time. One story says a real man keeps perfect composure, smiles through insults, and never raises his voice. The other story says a real man hits back hard and refuses to back down. Both stories miss the point. Anger is neither a badge of honor nor a mark of shame. It is a built-in signal system. Treating anger as a flaw is like smashing a smoke detector because the beeping is annoying. The goal of this talk is to walk through anger from the inside out. What it does in the body, how early lessons shape it, why silence makes it dangerous, and how clear expression turns it into power. The words stay simple, the tone stays direct, and every idea is grounded in real facts. By the end, the hope is that every listener will understand anger as a normal part of life and feel less fear about facing it head-on. When anger flicks on, it begins deep in the brain. The amygdala is the alarm bell. It does not think in words. It scans for threat faster than thought, then fires a quick signal down the spine to the adrenal glands. Adrenaline splashes into the blood. Heartbeat jumps, breathing speeds up, and muscles tighten. Cortisol soon follows. It keeps the body on high alert, flooding the bloodstream with sugar for quick energy. In men, average testosterone levels add an extra spark. The hormone does not create anger out of thin air, but when the alarm rings, the added fuel can turn a spark into a flare. All of this chemistry happens in less than a second. Before a single sentence forms in the mind, blood pressure has risen, pupils have widened, and fists may already clench. There is no way to stop that first chemical wave. Choice begins after the surge, not before it. The alarm is designed for survival. Long ago, it pushed hunters to defend the camp and parents to shield their young. Today, the same surge can hit while staring at an email that blames you for someone else's mistake. The body prepares for action, but the office chair traps the energy. If the energy has nowhere to go, no loud warning, no quick motion, it lingers. Research shows adrenaline can stay elevated for hours, and if a second insult lands during that window, the reaction stacks on top of the first. Over days, weeks, and years, the heart learns a hard routine. Jump high, cool slowly, jump again. The more often that routine repeats, the more strain builds in the arteries. In childhood, most boys find out quickly that open anger draws fast punishment. A 6-year-old who shouts on the playground is marched to a corner while everyone else keeps playing. At 8, the boy who throws down his bat because the umpire missed a call sits the next inning on the bench and hears the coach praise the quiet players for good sportsmanship. In middle school, the student who argues about an unfair grade gets labeled a troublemaker, while the one who accepts it without protest is praised for maturity. By high school, the pattern is automatic. The moment anger lights up, many boys swallow the heat before it reaches their mouths. They learn to keep their faces flat, their words short, and their true feelings hidden. These lessons are not useless. Society needs basic order. But repeated without balance, they teach a dangerous trick. Bury the signal and earn approval. Over time, that trick turns automatic. The signal still fires, the chemistry still floods the blood, but the face stays frozen. The mind learns to split, calm mask on the outside, rolling storm on the inside. Few adults notice the cost, and the boy grows into a man who looks collected, yet feels like a locked boiler. Silence does not erase anger. It only forces it to find workarounds. Many men slip into well-worn roles to keep the peace. One common role is the joker. He turns every insult into a punchline, deflects tension with humor, and laughs louder the more hurt he feels. The jokes win short applause, but self-respect drops another inch each time genuine frustration is played for laughs. Another role is the stone face. This man shows no emotion at all. Meetings stay calm around him, but partners and friends complain they can never read his mind. The third role is the nice guy. He says yes to every request to avoid conflict, then vents alone in traffic or explodes over dishes in the sink. Finally comes the tough guy. He flexes, curses, and brags to hide any hint of fear. People may back off, but they rarely trust him. Each role offers short-term safety. The Joker avoids serious talk. The stone face avoids risk. The nice guy avoids rejection. The tough guy avoids appearing weak. Yet every mask blocks honest connection. Problems go unsolved, resentment stacks, and the trapped heat keeps rising. Hidden anger is useful to many industries. Advertising often begins by poking a small sore spot. A commercial zooms in on a slow laptop wheel or a car's dull paint. The tiny burst of frustration primes the viewer to accept the product as relief. Money changes hands. The sore spot remains. Politics uses bigger sparks. Campaigns paint opponents as threats to safety or freedom. The anger pushes citizens to vote. After Election Day, the promised fixes slow to a crawl, but the anger habit stays alive for the next cycle. Social media works on pure volume. Posts that trigger outrage get more clicks, which means more ad revenue. Calm or complex messages sink to the bottom of the feed. On a personal level, friends, relatives, or partners sometimes threaten distance whenever anger shows. The rule is simple: keep things easy or risk being left alone. Each of these forces gains when men feel sparks of anger, but never guide the sparks into clear action. Silent anger is not just an emotional ache, it is a physical hazard. Studies in major cardiology journals show a clear link between buried anger and hypertension. Blood vessels forced to constrict again and again harden over time. Poor sleep follows. An active stress system shortens deep sleep cycles, and without deep sleep, the brain loses chemical balance, making patients even shorter the next day. Digestion suffers as cortisol slows stomach movement, leading to cramps and acid reflux. On the mental side, constant tension drains dopamine and serotonin, creating a gray mood where nothing feels sharp except irritation. A long Swedish study tracked men who rarely voiced anger. They faced a 30% higher risk of early death than men who expressed anger in healthy ways. These numbers speak loud. The price of constant silence is measured in arteries, hours of rest, and years of life. Real stories put skin on the data. A 42-year-old sales manager spent months swallowing complaints from demanding clients. Chest pain started as a small pinch. He told himself it was heartburn, worked 2 more weeks, and collapsed in the parking lot with a mild heart attack. Tests showed no clogged arteries, only stress-driven spasms. The cardiologist's first prescription was not a pill, but a mandate. Find a way to protest unfair treatment before the heart protests again. When pressure finally breaks its container, the explosion makes headlines. Road rage assaults close highways during rush hour. Parents scream at youth referees until police escort them away. Office workers flip desks after surprise layoffs. News anchors label these men monsters. Talk show panels debate toxic masculinity, and comment sections fill with scorn. What most viewers miss is the timeline. The blast looked sudden only because no one tracked the months of small cuts. The daily disrespect, the unseen overtime, the jokes that hit old scars. After public shame fades, the lesson many men absorb is harsh. If open anger ends in arrest or viral mockery, better to bury it deeper. The cycle tightens. Unable to speak anger clearly, many men try to drown it. Alcohol slows racing thoughts for a night, but steals deep sleep and strains the liver. Street drugs block pain signals, yet invite addiction and legal danger. Endless gaming and scrolling flood the brain with quick wins and bright images, but hours vanish and real problems wait untouched. Some overwork, chasing praise and overtime pay while relationships wilt. Prescription medications flatten sharp feelings, but can also dull joy and drive. Each strategy offers short comfort at long cost. The anger, stored rather than solved, often returns heavier. Anger is not pure poison. Handled early and spoken clearly, it is one of the body's best tools. A quick flash of anger is often the first sign that a boundary has been crossed. Naming that flash early, "I'm frustrated that the deadline moved without warning," can stop a small problem from growing claws. Moderate anger also fuels motivation. Sports studies show athletes who channel anger into focus run faster and react sharper. Finally, anger draws a bold circle around core values. When something feels wrong, asking, "Why does this bother me?" points straight to an unmet need or a broken rule. In that way, anger is a compass. It spins hard toward what matters most. Guiding anger requires practice, but the tools are simple. Plain words beat fancy speeches. I felt angry when the meeting moved without notice. No insults, no blame, just a fact. Physical motion helps burn leftover chemicals. A brisk walk, a quick lift, even mowing the lawn can lower adrenaline. A timed pause matters. Waiting 20 minutes lets the first wave fade, so the brain's reasoning center can gear up again. Writing transforms feelings into facts. One page that starts, "This is why I was mad," often shows clear patterns. Finally, a neutral witness, a coach, counselor, or blunt friend, offers an outside view without judgment. None of these steps is magic. Repeated, they become faster, clearer, and more natural. Children copy what they see, not what they are told. A father who says, "I'm angry that my words were ignored, let's solve it," teaches a lesson no lecture can match. On sports teams, a captain who calls out a missed play without yelling shows teammates how to keep standards high without losing control. In offices, a manager who voices frustration and immediately offers a fix invites honest feedback instead of whispered complaints. Each clear example breaks one link in the chain of silence and gives the next set of eyes permission to speak before they explode. A few stubborn myths keep healthy anger off the table. The first says, "Good men never lose their cool." In truth, zero anger is impossible. The real target is clear expression, not permanent calm. The second myth says, "Anger equals strength." Unchecked anger often drives reckless choices and erases respect. Controlled power beats raw volume every time. The last myth claims, talking about anger makes it worse. Brain scans show the opposite. Naming feelings drops amygdala activity and lowers physical stress. Speaking anger does not feed the fire, it clears the smoke. Anger began as a survival tool and remains a life signal. It warns when limits are crossed, fuels the push for change, and guides attention toward what matters most. Problems start when the signal is shamed, silenced, or sold back as cheap outrage. Men do not need to erase anger. They need to hear it early and speak it clearly. Doing so protects hearts, saves relationships, and sets a better path for anyone watching. The next time the warning light flashes inside, remember, the signal is natural, the response is a skill, and skills grow stronger every time they are used.